So this is going to be the soft Hackle Grey sakasa kebari. It's one of my favorite flies here in the West. This is a size 10, but it can be tied in a size 8 for more anti-camouflage, or a size 12, 14, even 18. But I'm going to tie it today in a size 10. I'm going to start out by tying the head, because it's a sakasa kebari. We're going to use YLI silk thread 202 is the color. And because it's a sakasa, we're going to start by tying the head right behind the eye and make it somewhat prominent but not overly prominent. And then after we cut off the thread, then we put a half hitch in just to hold it. Now I'm going to use a partridge feather that I've already stripped the fluff off of, and I like to tie it in by the stem. I'm going to tie it in a little backward, and then use my hackle pliers to grab it and turn it around. And the thing I like about partridge for sakasa kebaris is that the little strands, the feather strands, tend to align forward very nicely in just a natural arc. Now you can tie it in traditionally by the tip instead of the stem, and then you can sweep it forward, and that's no problem, but I prefer just to do it that way. Cut off some of the outliers, and then at this point we're going to put in our yarn. Again, I'm not being overly careful because this is going to wrap over itself. And some gold wire. This is brassy weight. And go backwards towards where the tail of the fly would be. And then come forward and put in a half hitch. Once the half hitch is in place, then I usually swing forward the rotary tool to hold it, and then we'll start wrapping forward. Once we get a little bit closer to the hackle, I like to wet my fingers and my thumb and just sort of sweep the hackle forward to just encourage it. I'll oftentimes just go back. On my flies, I like the body to be a little thicker so that it makes it a little bit more visible to the fish. Do a little do-si-do around the yarn, tie in front, tie in back, and then cut off the yarn. I'll then put a gold tag on, and then a gold ribbing upwards towards where the thorax is going to go. Again, do-si-do a couple times around your thread. Wrap in front and behind to sort of pinch off the wire, and then helicopter the wire off like so, and then I'll put another half hitch in to just stabilize the thread. Now I'm going to switch over to a gray thread to finish it off. and just make a couple wraps, and then just do-si-do around the other threads. Snip them off. Don't have to be too clean because you're going to go right over the top of it. I'm going to use some SLF dubbing, Dave Whitlock brand, and I'm using Hackle Grey. So pull out some thread, wet the thread with your finger, spin the dubbing noodle on, and then go ahead and wrap. Again, I'm going to wet my fingers and just pull the hackle forward a little bit so it's out of the way, and then whip finish. And this is the reason why I chose gray thread to finish, so that it blends in with the body. I'm going to whip again. And I'm going to put a little bit of dubbing on the whip just to hide this final wrap. Again, this doesn't really matter, but I like it. And then snip it off. So that is the soft Hackle Grey Sakasa kebari. Again, you could tie the hackle in by the tip, hold it the traditional way for a soft hackle, and then sweep them forward, but I just like partridge and the way that it naturally just makes this beautiful arc forward without being too acute of an angle. And anyway, soft Hackle Grey Sakasa kebari.